Hey everyone, Astronaut 98 here. It's been a while. So today we're launching the Hail Mary from the Project Hail Mary. Both the book and the movie are great. I've read the book and seen the movie. I really like it. Phil Lord and Chris Miller did an excellent job. So here I have this replica. It's 100% stock. It does require some SRB, so it's not actually an SSTO, but it is pretty large beast. So I had to take a page out of Matt Lone's playbook and build a giant booster to launch it. Now the cool part is it does have these drop away SRBs. Beautiful shot from the side mounted cameras. Here we go, and drop away. Nice. This thing does have 24 of the F1 equivalent rocket engines on the first stage adapter. It takes basically all the fuel this thing has in there to get up to orbit, and then the engines get dropped away, it flips over, and then it uses the Nerva to finish its final burn to orbit, along with a couple small Wolfhound engines that I have on there. This thing is intended to be Nerva only flight. It takes about 20 minutes to drain all the oxidizer from the fuel tanks if you warp it into orbit. But yeah, so how did I fill this thing up once I got to orbit? You're seeing it now. Rhombus. 1960s Philip Bono concept. This thing is a great little vehicle, mostly reusable. It has these drop-away tanks, as shown here. Or in this case, I guess it was explode-away tanks. They generally fall away in pairs of either 4 or 2. Here's a pair of 2 peeling away. And the last 2 will peel away in a second. But yeah, normally I use this thing to refill the external tank on my space shuttles heading out to the moon, or occasionally when I feel adventurous and decide to send my space shuttles way further. Very rarely do I send them any further than Duna. But yeah, this thing does the rendezvous, fills up the fuel tanks. Guess how many of these it took? 27. Since it takes me roughly 30 minutes to do a rendezvous and docking, I had to launch 27 of these every half hour. It took me almost 12 hours to fill this thing up. That was me working for 4 hours a day after being at work all day for 8 hours just to fill up this vehicle. It took me 3 days to get this thing to work. Not to mention this is also my first Jool mission. But the good news is these rhombus center cores are fully reusable. Well, except for the heat shield, which usually explodes on contact with either the ocean, or in a couple instances, it landed on land. I'm not sure if that would make recovery easier or worse for the Kerbals. How they recover stuff is really a mystery to me. Alright. Now, I did launch this with me forgetting about the beetles on the spacecraft. Yes, I know, they're very important to the story and in the movie as well. I just totally slipped my mind. I was in the process of rereading the book before I went to the movie theater to do this. So, I'm undocking the main habitation module and getting rid of the quote-unquote computer module that is next to the medical module. Yeah, they're really greatly designed spacecraft. And here I am deorbiting that module so that way I can get the new one up there. Beautiful way of dealing with debris. Just tossing in the ocean. You'll probably hear it impact the ground a few minutes before this thing does. Now, for those of you who are interested, what I've been up to for these past couple years, I tried getting myself a girlfriend. I got one. I lost one. I tried my hand at doing actual rocketry, still working on that. We'll see how that goes, if my engine ideas will pan out. But in the meantime, here we are launching the cargo rhombus, as I like to call it. It has the new module with the beetles and a infrared camera, as the films would call it, the Petrova camera. Or I guess as the book calls it. I'm conflating the book and the movie again. But yeah, I did dock this backwards, ironically. So I did flip it over at a later point, but I forgot to record that, so whoops on my part. And then I docked the rest of the habitation module here to the first part of the habitation module. And then I finish filling her up and get ready to head out on the mission. Now, a couple of you in the comments of my videos have been asking if I was dead or if I would do like a playthrough of how I built certain spacecraft. Another thought I had was maybe we could do like a fun collaboration thing where we all collaborate and try and build the Happy Valley base from the new season of For All Mankind, or Jamestown as it's shown in like season 3. I have all the modules built as is shown in a previous video. I just have yet to get around to launching them, and that's a lot of modules to launch. But here I am attaching the new thermal arrays to the Hail Mary. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is using the engineer Kerbal that I'm going to launch to break those solar panels and add a small docking port. Here I am launching the crew now, who are named after the main characters of the Hail Mary from both the book and the movie. We have Yao, who is the taikonaut from the Chinese National Space Agency, Ilyesa from Roscosmos, and Grace Kerman from, well, would he be NASA or would he be just a civilian contractor? It's really hard to figure out. But here we go. We have them EVAing over to the docking port. I figured I'd use the inflatable one because in the movie the docking port was made by Roscosmos. So I figured using the one that looks like it's made for the it's the Russian docking port from the 2-man Voskhod space program. So I figured it was pretty good sticking. And here we go, just a little bit of engineering work here, structurally supporting, a little bit of a spin test to make sure the artificial gravity works as intended. Ironically, this would actually produce kind of a gradient at the tips. You'd be kind of pulled downwards, like you were on like a 2 to 3 degree slope. And you'd actually, as you walk towards the center, it'd be like you're walking uphill, which is pretty neat to think about. And here we go. We're returning the crew capsule back to the surface of Kerbin, because we've got all the crew on the spacecraft, and I did cheat a small Mercury-style command pod into there so that way it does hold 4, but it's kind of cheating, so. If you can cram a habitation module within a habitation module, I don't consider that cheating, but a fuel tank is usually entirely full, so if you cram a fuel tank into a fuel tank, I consider that cheating. You can cram a fuel tank into a habitation module and then pull a habitation module apart afterwards. I don't consider that cheating. Here we go. We have the secondary thermal array attached, and here comes the new other one. I'm using this little monopropellant docking rover or docking claw. I still don't know what to call these things. I just call them little monoprop rover, I guess. They do the job pretty darn well, especially if you've got as much practice with docking as I do. There we go. And then we give the rover the send-off, 21 gun salute, bottle of whiskey poured out in the computer console. You know, typical. Alrighty. Comes in hot and buries itself in the ground, like every good spacecraft does. Alrighty. Now, the thermal arrays are now extending out to their perfect extension, and we're ready for the burn in 3, 2, 1, go! Right on schedule. And off we go into the wild dark yonder. Off we go into the black. We're going there, we're not so sure if we'll ever make it back. Sorry, just a little parody of the Wild Blue Yonder for all you Air Force retirees and current active duty. Yeah, so this thing is insane to fly. At the start of the mission, it has a thrust-to-weight ratio of 0.03. A thrust-to-weight ratio of 0.03. The burns, you can see I'm using the Oberth effect to get my most amount of delta V out of these burns as possible. Each one of these burns took a good 5 minutes real time, but I was playing at 4 times speed, and I had about 10 burns, so it took me about 45 minutes in real living time. Of course, I've accelerated it 16 times on top of that, so you're experiencing it at 64 times speed. But off they go. Say goodbye to your home planet, fellas. You won't see it for a while, but they'll see you in their hearts. Alright, here comes the lovely and boring coast phase between Kerbal and Jool. And for those who don't know, this was actually my first ever successful Jool mission, there and back again. I have yet to finish my interstellar base mission, as I like to call it, because I don't intend on the interstellar spacecraft ever coming back from Jool. And I actually discovered that if you're very lucky and the moons of Jool align very carefully, you can actually use Tylo or Lathe to get a very good gravity assist, and you basically save yourself a huge amount of fuel getting into Jool's orbit. And then you'll have to do, of course, a couple maneuver burns and stuff like that to align yourself with other planetary bodies, and deploy the infrared scanner to see what's going on. Hopefully there's nothing in your way and nobody visits you. That would be interesting now, wouldn't it? Now, I did momentarily deploy the Bang gravity on this spacecraft just for funsies, and because I thought it looked really cool. Because, you know, the Kerbals don't suffer from bone density loss or anything like that, unless you're playing RSS or any of the other mods that make life support and crew health important. Me playing stock, it's not that much of an issue. But yeah, head on in through the airlock and spin her up. I bet Sacred Cow Shipyard is going to have a bit of a laugh at the way this thing is built. Cables extending and everything else. Blip A detected. Yes, I built a replica of the Blip A. My original plan was to include footage of it leaving Duna and heading here, that, or leaving Elu and heading here. It was a long-winded idea, but this thing is huge. It's literally twice the height of the VAB. It literally docks in the middle, and I auto-strutted, or I actually manually strutted the thing together. I made a Kerbal called Rocky and a Kerbal called Adrian. Now, interesting fact about this Tylo encounter after leaving Rocky's ship, I miscalculated. Turns out I had done my burn a little too tightly, and I was on a collision course with Val. So, yeah, here we go. We have our lathe encounter, our first one, this mission, and then we have another burn and our second lathe encounter to get us as close to Jool as possible. Now, I didn't try and do the go fishing on this first one because it's my first Jool mission. I'd never done this before, so I wanted to fly it a little safe. But here we are in the astrophage belt. I'm replicating with, or I guess this would be VFX because my video editing software is doing this. It was pretty cool. I didn't know my software could do this. But here we go. We've gotten as close to Jool as we can get on this mission. And then we head back to Rocky's ship, drop him off. Due to the computational deficit that my computer has, I was not able to dock the Hail Mary to the Blip A. I could only get within 100 meters before my computer literally crashed Kerbal Space Program. Yeah, I may have to switch to using my tower for more strenuous missions in the future. I'm doing this all on my laptop, believe it or not. Alright, here's the Blip A, and they're approaching the Hail Mary. Or the Hail Mary approaching from the Blip A's perspective. Depends on how you look at it. And here is the Beetle being deployed with all the science I collected from all those lunar flybys. Now, this thing is poorly balanced and does not re-enter the atmosphere like it should. So yeah, that's gonna need to be fixed if you want to use those Beetle pods. I cannot seem to get them to work correctly. My best guess is maybe I switch the heat shield to the other end and the parachute to the antenna end, so that way the antennas create kind of an umbrella drag effect to slow it down. But yeah, here it is approaching Kerbin, and make sure your fingers approach the like, subscribe, and bell notification if you want to watch more of these videos. I'm gonna try and release more of these videos every couple weeks. And there it goes. All my hard-earned research gone. But here's the Hail Mary approaching Kerbin. Yes, I decided to actually try and bring the crew home. At the end of this mission, I had like literally 180 meters per second left over in the fuel tanks. I kid you not. This thing was like perfectly designed for this Jool mission. It was impressive. And that's even with my horrible Val encounter requiring me to burn like 500 meters per second of Delta V to not impact. But yeah, here we go. We're returning the crew home safe and sound. They will be regarded as heroes for all their scientific research that got burnt up in the atmosphere. But yeah, this was a once around. I basically passed Kerbin at the same time the Beetle was entering the atmosphere. And then once I got up to where Jool's orbit was again, I burnt once more for adjusting the orbit so that way it would actually slow down my orbit or slow down my approach to Kerbin. Yeah, you have to speed up, slow down, orbital mechanics. What a lark. But yeah, this final burn here was very triumphant. And such a relief that I didn't kill anyone on this mission, which is very much a first for me. Usually I end up crashing somebody into something, no matter what I do. But they're home, safe and sound. Maybe they'll send up a SLS rocket to bring them home. Kind of a little shout out there to Artemis 2. Man, is it so cool to watch history being made, you know? Furthest humans have ever traveled, and hopefully that record doesn't last for too much longer. But I'll tell you what, there's nothing like, at the end of every mission, going home and seeing a sunrise of your home planet or from your back porch. Thank you all for watching. I'm the Astronaut. Stay safe, stay sane, and most importantly, have fun.